No success in the world can compensate for failure in the home. That's why Club Wealth was founded, to help driven, successful, and busy real estate agents like you double their business while building a strong, balanced home life. Join us each week as high-producing agents and team leaders share their stories and unpack the principles and systems they've used to double, triple, and even quadruple their business while enjoying greater quality of life. And now, here's the latest episode of Club Wealth TV.
Gentlemen, it's Matt Johnson. I'm here with Michael Hellickson and Greg McDaniel doing a little podcast crossover edition of Club Wealth and Real Estate Uncensored. We're going to try to keep things tame, but we're going to have a lot of fun like we always do. First of all, Michael Hellickson, what's up today?
Dude, things are great. I got to be honest, man. It has been this last summer, or I should say all through the summer here, these last few months have been phenomenal. So very happy to be here. It's good to see you guys are doing well. And man, let's conquer it. Let's conquer the world with this episode. I'm stoked.
That's right. And Greg, officially welcome as well.
Thank you, my friend. I'm going to look forward to doing this. We had a lot of pre-show laugh and banter, and so this show is going to be amazing. I'll tell you one thing, guys. I'm exhausted. I moved my girlfriend all weekend, and my tiny little biceps are so sore. I mean, COVID has hit me. I cannot lift a box anymore. But all jokes aside, it's going to be a great show. And Michael, I look up to you, man. And so some of the knowledge you were dropping off air, it's going to be legendary. So let's roll.
That's right.
As soon as you said that, it made me think of Hans and Franz talking about tiny little dental floss arms.
Oh, that's a blast from the past. I love it. Back when SNL was good and they weren't all trapped in their homes.
Yes.
Oh, it's so terrible. It's so terrible. All right, Michael. So first of all, everybody's like, you were talking about off air about how, for the most part, people are like really happy with how we've come through with things and things seem to be going well. And it really hasn't hit the real estate market. In most places we were declared essential. And so after a little bit of a blip, we kind of got back to this kind of weird kind of pseudo normal, but it's also lulled us into maybe a false sense of security. So what are you telling people right now?
Well, I got to tell you, back in March, when everything kind of hit the fan, all of a sudden everybody's freaking out, and they were giving me. I was taking some heat, and I think you guys probably remember back then. I was taking a little bit of heat because I told everybody, I'm like, look, stop freaking out. Mm-hmm. Find the opportunity in the chaos, right? It's like Sun Tzu says, where there's chaos, there's opportunity. So you just got to find the opportunity. And I was taking some heat for that. People are like, oh, well, you got to just shelter in place. You can't do anything at all, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, look, you just got to find ways to do it. And lo and behold, our clients listened quickly and they did it and it paid off. And there was a lot of agents that also did the same, but then there were quite a few agents that didn't and they struggled. And some of those are already out of the business. Some of those already went by the wayside. But now you've got just the opposite happening. Now everybody's making money. Everybody's having success. And if you're not having success right now, something's freaking wrong, right? Seriously, you better go get a coach or talk to somebody, because if you're not having success right now, Lord help you, something's wrong. That being said, here's the problem. The one word that I would describe right now that's the biggest challenge, the biggest, I would say, threat to agents and brokerages right now. Write this down if you guys have a pen. It's complacency. I'm telling you right now, complacency is setting in for a lot of people, and they think this is the new normal. I got news for you. This is not the new normal. The pendulum has simply swung the other way. This is not the new normal. This too will change, right? Winter is coming. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And if people don't get their head out of the sand, thinking that, it's always going to be good, they're going to get themselves in trouble. Here's what you're going to see a lot of agents do. They're going to go out and they're going to buy vacation rentals. They're going to go buy nice properties. They're going to go buy nicer cars. They're going to go spend. And I'm telling you, agents right now, you need to stop doing that. There's 3 things you got to do. You want to come through this solid? There's 3 things you got to do. Number 1, you got to save money. You got to start cutting expenses right now. And particularly in your personal life, get small, save money. And 2, you got to stockpile cash. So I want you to cut expenses and stockpile cash. When you do that, when you come out as you think about who came out of 2007 to 2011 smelling like a rose, the people that had cash. Mm-hmm. Those people came out smelling like a rose. They were able to build and grow, and they just crushed it. Well, that's what we need to do now. And then the third thing is you got to keep your foot on the gas. If you don't keep your foot on the gas right now, and this is another big problem I'm seeing with a lot of agents, they're taking a ton of time off. They're, oh my gosh, it was so stressful. And it was, I get it. Everybody's stressed out during COVID. So they all took time off. And now or I should say some of them took time off then because, oh my gosh, I can't work. So I might as well just take time off anyway. And then they made a little bit of money short-term in the interim. And now all of a sudden they're taking time off again thinking, oh, I've got all this money. I don't have to work. Mm-hmm. Man, I'm so worried for those folks. I really am. Now there's the opposite is also true. The people that are cutting expenses, stockpiling cash and keeping their foot on the gas right now, they're going to come into fall and winter with massive pipelines, and they're going to come out of it with a ton of cash. And they're going to be able to do things that these other agents won't be able to do, including hiring the best assistants, buying the best lead sources, hiring the best agents, because now what's going to happen, this is what you're going to see. I'm telling you, when the market shifts, and it's coming like right now, right? We got these uber low inventories levels right now. What are we at? 3 weeks in a lot of markets, even sub 3 weeks in a lot of markets of inventory. It's crazy, right?
Goodness.
Right? And so what's going to happen is that's going to flip, and we're going to be back to 6 months worth of inventory in the market before you know it. And guess what's going to happen? When that occurs, the agents that are prepared for that and that have planned for that, they're going to come out on top. They're going to be able to they're going to have the cash to go buy those best lead sources, to hire the team members, and the agents that don't are going to lose. In order to come out of this as unscathed as possible, they're going to start canceling lead sources because they're freaking out, which is the worst thing they can do. I'll give you a perfect example. Craig Chastain is one of our coaches. So Craig, when when COVID started, we told all our clients, Realtor.com and Zillow came out and they panicked, right? And they started offering discounts because they started losing clients like crazy. And I told all my clients, I said, this is when you should be buying them. I had clients like Coach Craig who went out and he bought as many of the zip codes as he could in his area that were discounted. He literally cut his spend by 30% and increased his lead volume by 20%.
Wow. Goodness, that's a pretty good swing.
That's huge.
Good Lord. Okay.
Huge. That's coming. That's what I'm saying. That's what's going to happen. And that's what agents need to be prepared for. The problem is most agents won't be. Most agents will be like those agents that just bailed on their zip codes. And as they do that, now they got no leads. So guess what the agents on their team are saying? Well, if there's no more leads coming in, why am I here? So they leave. Now you got no money coming in, so you can't even afford your administrative assistants. Guess who's going to hire all those people?
Yep. Yeah, like I've already seen it with my internship program. The quality of the people that are available right now would blow your freaking mind. Yes. I have a guy who's about to start helping me out with some things in the agency who, in his own right, a year or two from now, we'll probably be on the scene as a coach in the career counseling space. Like, you will know who this guy is. And right now he's available, right? Because he's got 5 hours or 5 or 10 hours to work because everybody is cobbling together 3 or 4 things to try to get by during this time. So yeah, the talent level is going to be insane. You're going to be able to cherry pick assistants, staff, agents, the whole 9 yards.
Well, I just did that today. I just hired my another VA, and her quality is beyond reproach. I mean, it's just like one of those things you look at her, I'm like, I'm going to pay you $4 an hour. Are you kidding me? And she's going to work 40 hours a week for me. I have a laundry list, that's this long, and that's just my first draft of what she's going to be doing. We guys, if you're listening to this, it's a full yellow page. It's full of stuff like this. And she's going to go out and, do things that are going to generate so many leads. I have a lead generation company called Clever Leads with a K, and they're blowing it up for us. I got a $1.8 million listing off of our first text messaging program. Like you were saying, Michael, like when people ran for the hills, I pressed down on the gas going, dude, this is when you push hard and push through, because this is the time of opportunity. Because I remember back in 2008, when 8 and 9, and, it was, crash had taken place, and everyone's woe is me and everything else. And then you see these guys, learn about them later. What they did is they went out and secured hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars here in the Bay. And they did 2 things. They went out and bought, they were trying to buy 25 houses a week, if not more, buy everything they possibly could. And then out of every 3, they would sell 1, keep 2, rehab, rent, wait for the market to come back up. And they just cleaned house. But no one saw that. It was just like, I got to buy and sell. I got to buy and sell. Instead of like, where's the opportunity, like you said, the opportunity in the chaos?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, that's a great example, because Mike, you talk about like stockpiling cash. It's not just so that you can necessarily deploy that cash. It's also so that you have the freedom, the flexibility, and the mental space, the creativity to be creative, go out, build relationships. Like, like your listings back in the day didn't just come from homeowners. You're building relationships with banks and things like that. Well, you can't, like, that kind of creative thinking and that level of aggressiveness in crisis doesn't come if you're worrying about your next commission check.
That's right. That's why you got to put yourself in a position to not be living paycheck to paycheck. Mm-hmm. You talk about the talent that's out there right now. I can't even begin to tell you the quality people that we're hiring here at Club Wealth right now. I just brought on an event planner who used to do all the events for the White House.
Holy cow.
Think about that for a minute.
Wow.
Right?
Talk about that person's Rolodex.
I'm not even kidding. I mean, like, dude, and that's just like the coders and developers, right? We're getting great coders and developers for a price we can afford right now. So we've got, a bunch of full-time coders and developers on staff that we couldn't get 6 months or a year ago. And now we can. Why? Because nobody else is hiring. In fact, they're laying off. And that's another great example. One of the things that's great opportunity in the chaos right now, in the tech space especially, but it's in other spaces as well. Everybody's talking about, we're going to lead the world. Like Zuckerberg comes out. He's like, we're going to lead the world in remote workforce. We're going to have all our people working from home. We're going to get 40% of our workforce working from home in the next 10 years. Well, do the math on this first of all, right? Because this is people are using this as justification for, commercial real estate's going to die. No, it's not. Well, let me tell you why not. So do you think Facebook's their workforce is going to grow in the next 10 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Probably double in the next 10 years. So if he takes 40% of them and has them working from home and the other 60% are still working from an office, that means there's 10% more working from an office than there is today. So, right, like, do the math. But what's really cool is by sending them home, here's what he's been telling. And this is what people don't think or don't think about. In the Bay Area, great, you're going to see this happen like crazy in the Bay Area. Probably already are. Where these guys are going to say, well, I'm just going to get a place in Napa then, and I'm going to continue to make my $1 million plus a year or whatever, $100,000 a year, or whatever they're making, in high tech in the Bay Area. And they think they're going to go make that same amount of money when they start working from home. It ain't so. What's going to happen is the companies are going to pay them less because they get the opportunity to work from home. So they're not going to be making as much. And even Zuckerberg said, hey, look, the people that we're going to allow to work from home will have already worked here for at least 2 or 3 years in-house, so they can learn how to navigate our ecosystem. They can learn our culture, become a full and complete part of it, really get indoctrinated into who we are as a company. Then we might, with some positions, give them the opportunity to work from home, at which point we will pay them less. And so, yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. My girlfriend's sister works for Netflix. Right. Uh-huh. And so she's been working from home and has been for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And she's still making the same amount of money. So is it just, Facebook was doing this, or this is? I was going to say,
Netflix is not exactly known for being wise with its cash. So I don't know if that's a good
I'm just wondering, like, what about, here's the other thing for commercial buildings, so Zuckerberg and Facebook have the cash reserves to do anything that they want. Right. And so what about Steve's Deli that's in this commercial building, and Steve's Deli's got to go out? What's going to start happening to those commercial spaces?
Look, I don't disagree that we're probably going to see a blip in commercial. I don't disagree that you will see some commercial, particularly in downtown cores. Now, I don't think small town USA has as much to worry about, but downtown Seattle, Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, yeah, they should be worried. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. If I owned a building in one of those cities, I'd be worried. But I own commercial real estate outside of Seattle. I'm about 40 minutes outside of Seattle, and I'm bullish on it. I'm actually improving my property. I'm building apartments and commercial space on my property now. Why? Because I believe that a lot of people are going to decentralize. They're not going to want to commute 40 minutes to an hour to downtown anymore. They want to drive 10 minutes to a little office, but they still don't want to work from home necessarily.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that. That's the X factor in all this stuff, is you're going to see a massive work from home spike, and then you're going to see a massive spike of, oh my God, please get me the hell out of this house. And that's going to manifest in a bunch of different ways. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Let me really quick before we move to the next slide, I just got to give you a stat. So this is something Zuckerberg said.
Okay.
They polled all their employees. When they polled them, they said 20% of them said we'd love to work from home. 25% said we'd consider it. The rest of them, fully 55%, said we have no interest in working from home.
Really?
55%. This is post-COVID. This is right after COVID happened.
Well, that's because you get free healthcare, free childcare, free gourmet food, free gym. I mean, you have your own ecosystems. Like, why would I not want to go there and eat nice food for free? My kid gets taken care of for free. I can have healthcare. I can be entertained by big celebrities, and I can have this prestigious badge. So, you know what? I'm in that 55%. Hell no. I want to go back to work at Google and Facebook. And all
that's interesting. Wow. I don't know. The world's changed, but yeah, people are still people. That's really, really interesting. I would have never guessed, especially at a big company like that, but who knows, like if you would have asked me that and I worked at the insurance company I worked at in my 20s, I would have crawled over broken glass to work from home. So I think versus, and I kid you not, in the Midwest, I drove in the winter, I drove to work staring into the sun, and I left work staring directly into the sun, or it was already down by the time I left work. It was the most miserable I've ever been working downtown in Omaha, Nebraska. So I can see all those folks wanting to work from home a lot. But anyway, all right, so let's finish out with this. What's a quick round of where people can connect with us? Michael, what's the first for you in Club Wealth?
I'd say go to Facebook, Facebook groups, go to facebook.com/groups/Club Wealth, or just search in Facebook for the Club Wealth Real Estate Agent Mastermind Group. I definitely recommend go join the group. There's about 35,000 of us in there now. You guys are both in the group. Really a lot of smart people in there, and we just boot the knuckleheads. So
good. Well, Greg, it's been nice having you in there. So what's the best way to connect with you?
Like Michael was saying, go over to Facebook, guys. Send me a message, send me a friend request. I did a purge on my friends, so I have availability there. And if you got questions, thoughts, theories, or concerns, hit me up. If you like this podcast, I know you guys are going to like Michael's and Real Estate Uncensored. So come hang out with all of us, guys. There's a lot of knowledge to be learned, and Michael's an absolute legend, as you heard on this episode, with numbers and facts and figures and predictions and everything else. So, Matt, where do they find you?
Well, best place for me is getmicrofamous.com. But I would say for everyone in this listening audience, go listen to Real Estate Uncensored. We've had Michael on in the past. You can look up his previous episodes, and we have a lot of the smartest people in the business. Leave us a review there. Same thing for the Club Wealth podcast. Make sure to leave a rating and a review because it helps feed the algorithm and get it in front of more people. And we like that because we want to help more people. So with that being said, Michael, Greg, thanks so much. This is a blast.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.